Okay, we're recording. Okay, we are going to start our next unit. We are looking at our levels of organization. I have taught you some really, really tiny things. I'm getting names of people who are not.
Someone just got murdered.
Someone just got shanked or something.
He's never been here. He's not coming if he hasn't been here yet.
Well, this girl's a sus.
Alright.
She needed somebody.
Alright, Kylie, what are the smallest things I have taught you this year?
Atoms.
Atoms, okay? Smaller than that, what makes up atoms?
Neutrons, electrons, protons.
Neutrons, electrons, and protons. Very good. Maya, I have 5 favorite atoms. What, do you know those 5 favorite atoms?
No.
Here's 2 of them.
Water.
What's water made out of?
H2O.
Water.
All right, we got H's and O's. What else do I like? I like letters that make me so happy. Carbons, hydrogens, oxygens, nitrogens, phosphate, phosphorus, those make me all so happy. Oh, that's not fair, she wasn't here. Caleb, what? So these things get together and they make macromolecules. What 4 macromolecules do we know? Cho, carbs, lipids, chons. Okay, all right. So organelles, those macromolecules, they get together and they make organelles. Aaron, what is the brain of the cell? Or the brain of the cell, where my favorite stuff is stored. What is the powerhouse of the cell?
Mitochondria.
Oh, okay. Do you remember the brain of the cell, Aaron?
Nucleus.
The brain.
The nucleus. Very good. Okay. And what's really super cool and awesome about this is that these are all non-living things. And what I think is very,
What are living things, for example?
well, the smallest form of life starts right here. And this green is going to go goodbye, guys. Okay? So a single cell is the first form of life. Okay? It is the smallest living unit that is considered life. We have 2 types of cells. Okay, blue. What type? 2 types of cells. You are a eukaryotes. You are a eukaryote, and bacteria are prokaryotes. Okay. So those cells, they get together, and Lily, they make tissues, and they make all sorts of kind of tissues. What's up here? What kind of tissues up here?
Skin.
Skin is a tissue called epithelial. Okay. We have brain tissue. We have muscle tissue. Okay, these are specific cells that get together and they have a purpose. Yes.
The skeleton has tissues.
A bone
Yeah, for example.
is a tissue.
Yeah.
Yes. Good job. All right, Yosef, what kind of organs do we have in our bodies?
Stomach,
Stomachs.
brain, heart,
Great job.
muscle, flesh.
Yep. Okay, and those get together and they make organ system. Berkeley, give me an organ system, which would be several organs working together. Digestive system, I'm using that right now because I ate lunch. Okay, so that I involved my mouth, my esophagus, it's involving my
Respiratory system?
stomach. Respiratory, yes. Okay.
You need to make me a popsicle stick. You haven't made me one yet.
That's
Ooh.
completely off topic.
Yes, it is.
Most students don't call that out.
I,
They just sit there and they're like,
I get bored sometimes,
oh,
okay?
me.
Friendly points.
I don't know.
Nope, I love it. All right,
I get bored.
fair enough. All right. Now you're in for it. Okay. So when we're getting into new territory now. When we are talking about an organism, we are talking about one human. We are talking about one tree. We are talking about one ant. We are talking about one dog. Okay? One living thing is an organism. Okay? One living thing is what we're counting as an organism. When we go to a population, we're talking about humans. More than one thing, more than one species. Okay? Dogs, trees. Okay? More than one, but all same species. Okay? All the same species. Now, we're gonna add in community. What do you think our next step is? We have living things together. Okay, great job. Yep. All living things together. So examples would be a community. The community at Kamaikan includes humans, ants, birds, grass, bushes, because we have all that stuff on our campus. Okay?
Was like a dog pack count, like a wolf pack?
Well, they're probably all the same species, so that would probably be more like a population, because they're not going to hang out with other
I see the
species.
difference.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see, humans. We definitely have an ant population sometimes.
Some ducks earlier.
What?
I saw some ducks earlier.
On campus?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Really?
All right, we're going for it. Grass. Okay, all of those things form Kamaikan. Okay,
Homeostasis, that's bad.
I love my favorite H word, yes. Okay, so all of this stuff right here, this is all living things.
Except the earth.
The earth is, well, depends on what part of the earth, okay? But we're talking about this right now. Okay, cells, tissue, organ system, organisms, populations, community, those are all living things is what we're talking about.
Well, what about the ecosystem?
Well, let's talk about that. Did you notice my new shirt? This is my,
Super cool.
thank you. I know. Okay. So, when we are gonna talk about ecosystems, we are adding in living and non-living things. Okay, so let's see. Let's go with examples of living, because that's really easy. Berkeley, give me an example of something that's living in Tri-Cities. Okay, we're gonna go over here. Humans. We have like 500,000-600,000 per city. We have like 1 million, I think. Lily, what else lives in the Tri-Cities?
Dogs.
Dogs. That's so true. I don't know what the population is, but it's big. Blue, can you give me a plant that lives in the Tri-Cities?
Evergreen.
Give me a different plant.
Apple
Apple
tree.
trees. Okay. Those are alive. So, since you brought up evergreens, you just open the whole book. So, why, when you go to the west side, why are there hundreds of evergreens? And why, we have them here, but are there like one here, one there?
I just noticed it because I have like a bunch of like evergreen trees in my backyard.
Yeah, but that's pretty rare, right? So why don't we have, like, talking about the Tri-Cities, why don't we have a whole bunch of evergreens over here, but on the west side they do?
Because we're a desert.
What's that mean?
It's a certain
Climate.
ecosystem that doesn't get a lot of water.
Water! OMG, look at that. Water is a non-living thing, okay? So we need to take into account living things and non-living things that make up an ecosystem, okay? The water that we have here determines what lives here. Okay, we don't have evergreens like they do once you hit Ellensburg. We have evergreens everywhere. We have to plant them and water them, okay? So, living and non-living things are taken into consideration. And when you think of ecosystems, I really want you to think of interactions between living and non-living things. Okay, so the Tri-Cities, we have an ecosystem here. Yes, yes.
The interaction with living things can respond.
And non-living.
Non-living doesn't. It still responds, but they don't reply.
That's true. But, so, Yosef, would we have a whole bunch of cactus living in Seattle?
No,
Why?
because there's no such thing, because the desert doesn't exist
Right.
in this country.
Okay, so that's kind of interacting together.
Yep.
So what lives there is determined by all sorts of things. How about sunlight? How about minerals?
Sunlight is because it's a light. Can't touch
It's
it.
energy. So what if there's a place where no sunlight? Do you think there's gonna be lots of plants?
No, because we might die.
Right. They would die. They would totally die. Okay? So an ecosystem is living and non-living things.
Could pollution count as a non-living thing that would affect it?
Sure. Pollution is just all sorts of things. Okay.
Thank you, see you tomorrow.
Yeah. I think that would totally count.
I'm
Totally
very jealous,
man-made
but-
though. Totally stinks. All right. So this is our levels of organizations. We are focusing on the ecosystems. We're focusing on ecology this unit. Okay? So let's